this out of the way. Because you're going to speak here, right?
But we have to put this one in the end.
Put it on that side? No, people have to walk. To walk around.
No, but you need the, you can move it.
Okay, but how are you going to get here?
The podium has to come on that side. We need this one. All of it. We have to put the podium on that side.
Remodel the whole place?
Because the police has to sit here.
Do we have someone emceeing?
Ravi, Ravi's going to be.
Fine to walk there. You have to walk, right? So it's fine.
All right. This is work. It doesn't work. I don't know.
Testing.
I don't know if it works or not, but we can. So why don't we start off speeches right now? Since we have a lot of people today, why don't we get started? So, Jessica, do you want to get started since you didn't get a chance to? Yeah. Okay.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Jessica. I am married to Jonathan, the youngest son. Last night, when the boys and I finally made it here to celebrate Dad, when we finally made it here to celebrate Dad. It was touching to hear stories of my own life repeated back to me through the eyes of Dad. I didn't know the extent of this esteem and love he held for me when others outside the family would ask me about Dad. I entered his life when the Parkinson's had taken hold, and his role was silent observer in the room. To me, he was a man of few words, but his presence was solid and steady. I will always remember walking into the condo on our visits, and even when he was no longer able to stand, his eyes would light up with love and recognition. And when his words could no longer be spoken, I could always push in next to him on the couch and we would just hold hands. He was the best at holding hands. We will love you, Dad, forever.
Thank you all for being here today. And I was really touched yesterday with all of the precious and heartfelt comments from everyone, from his grandchildren up on the stage and talking with people in the sidelines. And I'd like to offer a few of my own personal observations from being a son and living a life in the Tiku household. Dad was a hard worker, like in his in the program is noted and everyone shared yesterday. And he was a hard worker in the truest sense. You know, while he was employed at Framelab, I think you all know that he ran a side real estate rehab business where he would rent out rooms to college students, and so that was something he did on the side, the weekends, evenings, even while we were living in Iowa City, and he was driving back and forth from Aurora because he worked at Fermi National Accelerator Lab in Batavia. That was his full-time job, and then on weekends he would commute. And as the oldest, I seemed to getting at least what I thought at the time. I was stuck with being his handyman helper. But that meant a lot of, at the time, why was I doing this? Why was I helping repair this drywall? Why was I painting this wall while my friends were out playing? And through all of that, after reflecting on that, I realized that even though at the time it felt like a burden, it was one of the most practical gifts that he's given me, in that now he taught me how to work with my hands, how to solve problems. So many of the things that I have used over the years to get through life, to take care of things around the house, it's because he taught me that. Not he didn't talk to me, he showed me, he made me, and he made me in what I am today through that. More than anything, though, through his life, he showed me and my younger siblings what it means to be a father and a husband, what it means to be devoted to your family. So he modeled that steadiness, that loyalty, that need without explaining. And so those lessons remain with me today, and hopefully I can impart that to my kids as they grow up. So I was reminded, I was trying to think about, how to end this, and I ran across a while back a poet that was popular in the late 1800s and to the first half of the 1900s that also was an immigrant. His family immigrated to the States. He settled in Detroit from England, and his father died when he was 17, and so he had to go to work, drop out of school to support the family, and he became a very prolific poet in the States. And he wrote a poem in 1916 called Only a Dad, and I thought it was very apropos for what Dad has taught me and my kids, and so I'd like to read that for you all here. So, Only a Dad by Edgar A. Guest. Only a dad with a tired face coming home from a daily race, bringing little of gold or fame to show how well he has played the game, but glad in his heart that in his own rejoice to see him come home to hear his voice. Only a dad with a brood of 4, one of 10 million men or more, plodding along in the daily strife, bearing the whips and the scorns of life, with never a whimper of pain or hate, for the sake of those who at home await. Only a dad, neither rich nor proud, merely one of the surging crowd, toiling, striving from day to day, facing whatever may come his way, silent whenever the harsh condemn, and bearing it all for the love of them. Only a dad, he gives his all to smooth the way for his children small, doing the courage stern and grim, the deeds that his father did for him. This is the line that for him I pen, only a dad, but the best of men. And I hope I can model that for the rest of my life. Thank you.
So each of us has memories of Dad now. We don't have any more memories that we can form. Unfortunately, now he has passed. So I want to share the memories I have. And I want to hear everyone's memories as well. There's a story of when I first met Dad, since I was born in India and Dad was overseas. We came when I was about 4 to 5 years old. So my mom, elder brother Raja, myself came to meet Dad for the first time. And my first memory, I can't guarantee it was my memory or was sort of built on what people told me at that time. Dad, I think, was a young, brash Indian male showing off his car to us, realizing we were from India and hadn't experienced or haven't seen those type of cars yet. And he goes to us, "How do you like our car? How do you like my car?" And then I was not so impressed. And what I told him is that my grandfather, who I'd lived with up to that time, has a bicycle. So I wasn't impressed back then, but over the years, I have been impressed by what he's done. When we were younger, he was very stern. He was brash, and we were scared of him. So we always talked to our mom if we wanted anything from dad. When I was older, finished my schooling, went to the East Coast, I didn't come across him very much. Every once in a while he would visit, every once in a while we would visit. But he still taught us a lot of lessons in life. There was one time that I talked about, we were talking about a stock market, and I was upset. I had lost some money in stocks. And he told me that, you know, money will come and go, but you should invest in yourself and your family. That's the best you can do. And, you know, it's said, but, you know, that really hit home, that it's something he was focused on, and that was something he wanted me to focus on. There was one experience I had when I was younger, that I worked in a part-time job, and you know, no one in that job was working really hard. They were screwing around, and I wasn't working very hard either. I told Dad about it. I thought it was funny, and I thought he would share that. He would think it was funny too, but he told me he wasn't upset or he wasn't happy. He said, as a matter of fact, is there any reason why you don't do your best, that you don't try? He wasn't upset at me, but you know, it was his way of demonstrating his culture, his work ethic, and I was immediately embarrassed at myself that I hadn't done as best as I could, and there was no reason why I should not do as well as I could. So that really struck home with me, and that's how I've really carried out my life, trying to do the best that I could to share his values. There was a couple of other instances that really struck me, that really demonstrated his character. One time he visited us in New Jersey, and he was just hanging out at the couch. This was, you know, at least 10 years ago. He knew that he has Parkinson's. He knew that he wasn't in good health. He knew that he would probably be the first one to pass in our family. So he sat me down and he said, if anything happens to him, yes, I have to promise him that I would take care of Mom. And that went without saying, but you know, it's demonstrated his character, that he was worried about other people, not worried about himself. So a lot of you don't know about his life when he moved in with us in New Jersey. So I just want to give you some of those stories. He went in with us around April of 22, after Mom had passed in late 21, and they'd been living with, Dad had been living with DK for a while. My first night with Dad was terrible. He was yelling and screaming all night, and I was wondering what I had gotten myself into. It was his dementia, it was out of control. But after we got his medications lined up, we got things under control, and things moved pretty smoothly. We, as a family, decided to bring him to New Jersey because we knew, or we hoped we could get the best caregivers, given the large tri-state area, the population, the availability of workers. And it turned out to be the case. We've had an amazing set of caregivers. It wasn't always easy to get them, but they were amazing. The names you probably all know, but Nadia, Maria, Rupa, Christina, Carmen, Nana, all of them were incredibly helpful. Without them, we couldn't have survived. we couldn't have kept Dad going as much as he could. Christina in particular was amazing. She devoted her life to us. She treated Dad as a family member. She lifted him up when he couldn't stand up. It was just amazing. She valued him as her family member, and we valued her as our family member. Yesterday, she couldn't speak because she was so tearful at his loss. I also have to thank all of the people at Hackensack, Newbridge, and my office who all helped rearranging schedules on the fly when needed. Of course, I have to thank Chitra. I think without Chitra, I don't know what I could have done. Dad had the perfect staff. He had a personal internist, a personal neurologist, and health caregivers all the time. And we couldn't have kept him going without the whole team involved. And obviously, DK, Bobby, Arun, you were always there. Hillary, Jessica, Soyoung were always there. So we worked as a team to keep him going. I don't think anyone could have done a better job as us. The past 3-4 years were a lot of work, but they were a lot of fun as well. Taking care of Dad was like taking care of another child. You can't complain about the work that's involved in taking care of your child because you get so much gratification. And there was a lot of gratification with Dad. He was aware, he knew what was going on. He was fun, he played with us. He was our child over the past 3-4 years. He was a center of the house. All we did is talk about what he did that day, what he said that day, and who he punched that day. He knew who we were. He was conscious. He was aware. He knew who his family was. There was one time when we had a new caregiver, and he refused to take medications from her. He didn't trust her. So he waved Kieran over, and Kieran took a look at the medicines, and he said it was okay, and Dad took the medicine. Every once in a while, we would go out for a few days, and then we would, and he would ask the caregivers, "Where is my family? Where is everyone?" So we knew he knew we were around. He joked with the caregivers, so the caregivers joked with him. They joked with him, "Can you give me $1,000?" And then he would tell them back, "That money's for my family." He was, at the end of the day, he would get agitated after dinner, so he would start tearing apart the tablecloths. And then Chitra would come up to him upset saying, "You can't tear apart our tablecloths, it's expensive. You have to pay me $20. And he would shout back, "I'll give you $2. I always had a hard time pronouncing Wudwin, and I asked him if he wanted to go back to Wudwin. And then he told me once, it's not, he did the correct pronunciation, it's not Wudwan. So he really knew what was going on. At the end of the day, we would get him ready for bed. And I always asked him how he was doing that day, because I wanted to check his mental status. But he would always give me a response. It was either it was lousy, it was bad, or it was average. If it was average, I considered that a success. But I knew his brain was working all the way till the end. The past 6 months were difficult. He had, back in late January, pneumonia, likely a viral pneumonia. He had, was complicated by a condition called Guillain-Barré syndrome. This caused him to be paralyzed completely throughout the body. He couldn't open his eyes, it was so bad. Many people would die under that circumstance. but he made it through. He fought through that. He beat the pneumonia. He beat the Guillain-Barré. He's started opening his eyes. He started moving his arms and legs. We kept exercising him. He was moving his right arm and right leg. He never refused to exercise, although he waved me off every once in a while when he's had enough. Eventually, his heart wore out and stopped. There was nothing more we could do. I wish we could do more. Not completely satisfied. I have second thoughts. Could we have done things differently? Could we have done things different? But I think together as a team, we gave him the dignified treatment that he deserved. And we did the best that we could. And I think that's the only thing he would have ever asked us, to do our best. Thanks.
So, as parents, we don't always realize that our kids are watching us and learning from us. Every once in a while, we'll get a reminder when maybe they may say a swear word that they heard from us in maybe an inappropriate spot, or say something inappropriate that we might have said ourselves. And it kind of is, it reinforces that you really need to set a good example for your kids, at all times, because they're always watching and always learning. So this past week, I kind of thought about the example that Dad set for us, and you heard it a lot, right? He was a hard worker. He had a work ethic. He was very focused. He liked to do things himself. You heard that yesterday from Jay. He liked to do things by himself. He didn't want to outsource anything to anybody, and he really learned how to do everything himself. And so what really stuck out more than anything is, like, he expected that of himself, and he also valued that in other people. He always really appreciated us when we started exhibiting those types of behaviors and characteristics. And so I always knew that, as long as I tried hard, it really didn't matter what the result was, that he would consider somebody like an elite person if they tried their best, they worked hard and did the best they could. And I've tried to share that with my kids as best I can. Dad was one of the hardest working people I've known. I've worked in industry, worked with people from all around the world for 30 some years, and I tell people how hard he works and just how much of a I don't know, maybe maniac's not the right word to use, but sometimes it feels that way, that he's that much of a hard worker, and it's such a high level to try to achieve. But that hard work gave us a tremendous opportunity to be here, to grow up here, to be educated here, to grow our families here. A tremendous opportunity, and we'll always be thankful for that opportunity. But I think more importantly, even though I didn't know this growing up, the example that he gave us was the blueprint, how to take advantage of this opportunity, the hard work and the focus. It's one thing to have the opportunity, it's another thing to take advantage of it. And that's probably the biggest lesson that I learned from him. And I'll always be thankful for that example. Thank you. All right, thanks everybody for coming and uh, honoring Dad today. I'm Jonathan, I'm the youngest son, and I'm going to go through and illustrate a couple of things from my perspective that you saw in the program and the memoriam. The things that there were mostly funny stories actually to kind of lighten the mood a bit in a celebratory mode. But to start with generosity, this was an amazing thing I experienced when I was young. We had those rental properties, and it so happened that there was a tragic accident of an Indian family immigrating to, and the husband was going to go to graduate school at the University of Iowa, and the family met with a tragic accident, and Dad stepped up and he found him a place to stay and to live for free until they got back on their feet. That was an amazing, amazing thing. I've never experienced or heard of anything when I was such a young kid. To hear about somebody being so generous, it was incredible. The incredible work ethic was also very impressive. When I talked to my colleagues and let them know all the stuff that I did when I was younger, painting when I was like 8 years old, and how all they're amazed that I was scraping off what do you call this, the wallpaper, thank you. Scraping off wallpaper from the walls in an old house and things like that. So they just are, they find it remarkable that where I came from and what kind of a background of hard work that was instilled in us. I do recall, like, when we moved back to the Midwest in 2013 and moved very close to Mom and Dad. We would visit them a lot on the weekends. When they were still living in Aurora and Rosewood, he instilled that work ethic in us, and then he started trying to instill that same work ethic in my kids. They were like 4 and 7 at the time, and he had my oldest son John James up on a roof scraping the leaves off the roof from the big tree in the backyard. They accumulated up there. We have pictures of that. It's quite a funny scene. He was wearing a helmet. I think Dad made him wear a bike helmet or something like that. So, that illustrates all the kind of imparting of the work ethic that we grew up with into our kids as well. I think maybe he didn't trust me to instill that work ethic in my kids, but he was trying to do that on my behalf. If we ever got lazy when we were growing up, things would changed pretty quickly. There was a week when DK and I were in Aurora. I don't know what the rest of the family was doing, but I think we were getting lazy watching TV and waking up late or something, and he kind of told us to get up and get into the car, and we kind of looked at each other puzzled, and we got in. He was going to go to work, and about 2 miles away, he dropped us off and told us to walk home. And we looked at each other puzzled, and man, when you were like 10, 11, that like walk is a long ways. It was like, I think it was over an hour it took us, but then, I recently measured it on Google Maps and it was only 2 miles, but it seemed like forever, and then we were just puzzled. I actually not sure the house was unlocked at that time when we got back, so I don't know if we milled around all day, tried to figure out something to do, but he made sure to let us know in no uncertain terms that any laziness is not permitted. So as my kids can attest to, they can understand that in our household. For all the hard work and do-it-yourselfness, I know Arun took part in a lot of that, and I want to thank him for taking on the most of that. But it really is amazing to see that manifest. I mean, to this day, I think last year he helped me change a tire on my car, and so if anybody has a flat tire in the parking lot, you know who to go to. Everything revolved around family. Many of our vacations growing up consisted of like meeting family, going, seeing family in Batavia. That was always quite fun. We visited Rakesh, and when we were growing up, we had a Winnebago. We went camping, and we took the Winnebago to visit you in Canada. You know, the Winnebago, in retrospect, it wasn't probably that like kind of in great shape, but you know, with Dad, there was all like the mechanical ability. I never felt like we were gonna break down or anything, and whenever it did, he would like tinker with it, and it would keep going. You know, it was an amazing thing. It was probably not in the greatest shape. The suspension wasn't that good, and when you hit a bump, it was like bounce like anything, and that was fantastic when you were 8 years old. But like in retrospect, I thought, man, that seemed kind of dangerous. But with him around, it never felt like anything was insurmountable. Um, as they got older, they moved downtown. In the last 10 years of when they were living closer downtown, across the street from Raja, that must have been like the dream of a grandparent. If it would be a dream for me, as I think about getting older, to be such close proximity to my kids and having them across the street. I know that they did so much for them during the weeks. I know when Dad had his moments of having a little bit of difficulty, Raja was always there at 2 in the morning, overnight, staying overnight, sleeping on the couch, doing whatever it took during the week. And that was just helped them through a lot of things. It was fantastic to be able to be so close and to, you know, I would say we were down there on weekends probably twice a month. So the 10 years of Mom's life, we were quite close, and we had such fun memories being in the condo, having dinners together. Jessica became very close to Mom, and the boys had a lot of great experiences with Dad. They would pitch in and help out, and you know, Dad had such wit. It was so impressive, even the older years when he wasn't speaking too much. You know, we would FaceTime a lot too at dinner time. Whenever we were in Chicago at dinner time, they would be on FaceTime with us. You know, there was one day on FaceTime where, you know, he must have had at that time, he must have had a little bit of trouble, you know, with his memory. And I think they used to watch movies together, or they must have watched a James Bond movie. And then Mom turned to him, and like I was on the FaceTime, turned to him and was like, "Who is this on the phone? Who is this?" And he says, "007." And then it was a running joke with us that I was now 007 when I was on FaceTime. And then my nickname up to that point was Bubby. And so from a child, so then I retired Bubby, and then I became to them 007, which is a running gag for us. But for the most part, I think as I get older, I understand the challenges in life and realize how incredible his story is. It's fantastic, and I wish to my kids to have such success in life. And after Mom passed, the day she passed, he told me, "Everyone's time is limited. This is all part of the life cycle. Everyone must go through this process." Those words always comforted me. They comforted me in the last 6 months as I saw him decline. I found comfort in those words when he was extremely lucid, and it carried through. So thank you for coming and celebrating his life with us.
How do you turn on for Uncle? Or can we hear it?
Do you wanna-
Um, okay, can you hear, Uncle? Okay. Okay, can you hear Uncle? Can you hear? Uncle Sham, can you hear? Oh, Uncle Sham, can you hear?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, good. Oh, that's all right. All right. All right, so it's your turn to speak. You're on the microphone here, so everyone can see you and hear you.
All right, thanks. Good morning, everyone. I hope you can hear me okay. I'm online. My name is Shyam, and I am Jawarji's youngest brother. I'm speaking to you today from Kashmir, the very place where Jawarji was born and raised. Standing here in the beautiful valley, surrounded by majestic mountains, serene lakes, and lush green meadows, I can deeply feel his presence all around me. My wife Santosh and I had the privilege of saving Jawahar on June 28th. Shortly after that visit, I had a vivid dream. In it, I saw my father walking ahead, leading my mother, my sister-in-law Raniji, my older sister, and all my brothers who have previously passed away. They were all happy, healthy, and joyfully enjoying each other's company. From that day on, whenever I woke up in the morning, I found myself talking to my father, Tataji. I would say, Tataji, Jababa is waiting to join you. In my heart, my father would simply smile and raise his hand in blessing, as if to tell me, yes, we are getting everything ready to welcome him home. On July 27th, I was in Pahalgam, Kashmir, alongside my sister-in-law and her two daughters. As we walked along the banks of River Leather, vivid memories came rushing back of the time I had visited that exact spot with Johar and the rest of our family. Later that evening, I checked my phone and saw a missed call and a text message from Vander. Dear uncle, when you get a chance, please call me. Deep down, all he knew what the message was about. When I called him back, he shared news with me. Initially, I planned to board the flight to New Jersey immediately, but I felt so strong that Jawaharji was right here with me in Kashmir, a land he loved so deeply, especially his native village of Vadwan. I said to myself, instead of flying to New Jersey right away, I will take Jawahar's spirit with me to places he cherished most. Over the past few days, I was able to visit places like Sonamarg, Tulumala, which is also called Kir Bhavani, and Vadwan, honoring his memory and reliving the beautiful moments we shared. Looking back on his life, I've always known Jawaharji to be the most hardworking person in our family. His dedication earned him admission to BITS Planning, one of India's premier engineering institutions. He excelled there, which led to a position in the biophysics department at AIIMS, New Delhi. Shortly after our father passed away, Jawahar selflessly stepped up to take full responsibility for looking after Indira and myself. Indira is my younger sister, and she's sitting there in the audience. His outstanding work at AIIMS caught international attention, earned him an invitation from a Swedish research firm for advanced training on specialized equipment. Later, he came to the United States to pursue higher studies at the University of Iowa in Iowa City. While preparing for his PhD, he received a job offer for Fermilab, Batavia, Illinois, an opportunity he could not pass up. Alongside his research work at Fermilab, he also developed a passion for real estate, where he achieved remarkable success. In 1978, Jawaharji and her older sister Ringashi visited India during a very tragic, painful time for our family. After our older brother, Pratinji, a pilot in the Air Force, was involved in a tragic accident while flying from Agra to Srinagar to visit our mother in Vadwan. During that same visit, while we were together in Ludhiana, Jawaharji encouraged me to come to the United States for my master's degree. He personally helped arrange my admission to the University of Iowa. Throughout my studies, he opened his doors to me, and I lived with him and his family at their Bowery Street home in Iowa City until I graduated in 1981. Later on, he and Raniji sponsored me and my family for our green cards. The life our family enjoyed in the United States today is because of Jawahar and Raniji. We feel endlessly blessed to have been a part of their home, and we will forever remain indebted to them for their boundless generosity, love, and care. On July 27th, Jawaharji left this earthly life to reunite to reunite with his beloved life partner, Raniji, our father, and the rest of our family who went before him. As a messenger, I want to leave this comfort with his children, his grandchildren, his daughter-in-laws, and our entire extended family. He is healthy, he is happy, and he is peacefully embracing the new journey he just begun. We do not hold back his Atma with heavy sorrow. Instead, let us celebrate his remarkable life and his transition into a world of infinite love and peace. May God bless his Atma. Thank you all. Thanks for coming.
All right, thank you, Uncle.
माताजी हर हर महादेव विद्यास्मभ्ये नमसोपसत्य मित्रं देवं मित्रधेयन्नोऽस्तु अनुराधान्नपिशावर्धयन्तः शतं जीवेम शरदः सवीराः दीर्घायुष्यमस्तु। अशेषे हे परिषत् भवत् पाद मूले मया समर्पिता इमां सौवर्णीं यत्किञ्चित् यथोक्त दक्षिणाम् इव स्वीकृत्य अद्य मम पितरम् उद्दिश्य पितृमेध संस्कार कार्यं कर्तुं योग्यता सिद्धिम् अनुग्रहाणां तदङ्गं तिथि वार योग नक्षत्र करण अपेक्षया ग्रह प्रीतिम् अस्मिन् समस्त मम पितृ प्रेतस्य संस्कारार्थं समस्त उपकरण शुद्ध्यर्थं पुण्याः वाचन पूजां च अद्य करिष्ये। शुक्लां वरदरं विष्णुं शशि वर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्न वदनं ध्यायेत् सर्व विघ्न उपशान्तये। दक्षता take the rice on your left hand. Have to do with the have your feet on open. Hold it 2 minutes. You can chant the Gayatri mantra if you know. Just please it others. Om Bhurvasvaha Tatsavitruvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonaha Prachodayat. Om Apo Jyotihi Raso Amritam Brahma Bhurvasvaha Apaha Om Mamopakta Samasta Durita Akshaya Dwara Shri Parameshwara Prityartham Abhavigraha Pavitrova Sarva Avastham Gatopiva Yasmaret Pundarikaksham Sabhatya Abhyantaraha Suchihi Manasam Vachikam Papam Karmana Samo Parchitam Shri Shiva Smarani Naiva Vyapo Hati Na Samshayaha Shri Shiva 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 Shambhoho Agneya Pravarta Manasya Adya Brahmanaha Didiya Parate Shveta Paraha Kalpe Vaivasvada Manvantare Ashta Vimshati Tame Kali Yuge Pratame Pate Krauncha Dvipe Aindra Khande Ramanaka Varshe Maha Meroho Paschimi Parshve Asmin Shakapte Varta Mani Vipa Karike Prabhavadi Shashti Samvatsarana Madhye Idani Shrimat Parabhava Nama Samvatsare Dakshina Ayani ग्रीष्म ऋतौ अस्मिन् आषाढ मासे असित पक्षे अद्य प्रथम्याम् उपरि द्वितीयां पुण्य तिथौ वासरः वासर अस्तु गुरु वासर युक्तायां ज्येष्ठा नक्षत्र युक्तायां शिव नक्षत्र शिव योग शिव करण एवं गुण सकल षड्गुण विशेषेण विशिष्टायाम् अस्यां वर्तमानायां पुण्य तिथौ मम शर्मणः शिव भारद्वाज गोत्रस्य शर्मणः मम पितृ प्रेतस्य शुद्ध्यर्थं पुण्याः पितृ मेध संस्कार कर्ण मंत्र पूर्वकं गंगा स्नान पूर्वकं च अस्मिन् दिवसी अन्त्येष्टि संस्कारं करिष्ये. First we going to do the punya vachan. This called puja called punya vachan. So we going to be do the puja for the 7 holy rivers in India. So Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati. So this 7 kind of river going to be do puja here. So this going to be the purity of the soul. So we did after the birth until end of life we did many of these good and bad things which they happen. So they're going to be this whole dispatching to the Shiva's feet. So before we go, we're going to be the purity of the soul and the body. That's the reason we're going to do the punya vachan. Om imam me varunaha shruti hava atyacha mridaya twama asyo ajake tatva yami brahmana Vander manaha tatasha aste yajamano avidbihi aheda mano varuni abhot durushakum samana ayuhu pramoshihi अस्मिन् कुंभ मध्ये सकल तीर्थ अधिपतिं वरुणं ध्यायामि. वरुणाय नमः. समस्त उपचारान् समर्पयामि. वरुणाय नमः. प्रचेदसे नमः. स्वरूपिणे नमः. अपां पतये नमः. मकर वाहनाय नमः. तीर्थ राजाय नमः. वरुणाय नमो नमः. नानाविध पत्र पुष्प अर्चनानि समर्पयामि. वरुणाय नमः. सुगंध धूपम आग्रापयामि. वरुणाय नमः. समस्त उपचारान् समर्पयामि. वरुणाय नमो नमः. धूप दीप श्लिष्ट उपचारैः सकल आराधनैः सुवर्चितम्. अस्मिन् पुण्याः वाचन जप कर्मणि सर्वेभ्यो शिवः भजेभ्यो नमः. ओम स्मिन्नज्ञावचमगुरुध्वं भजं कुर्मः भवद्गरुणज्ञातपुण्यं पुण्याहं मादिष्ये ॐ मात्यनामो मापः शिवा आपः सन्तु गन्धाः सुगन्धाः पान्तु ॐ सुमनसः सौमनस्य मस्तु ॐ अक्षरम् अक्षरन्धारिष्टं जातु अन्वाहार्यः सोमन्वाहार्योऽस्तु ॐ दक्षिणा दक्षिणा पान्तु बहुदेशं मस्तु विदादेवहोर्मणविजज्ञनीर्बृहत्पतिरुक्तामदानि सपुंशिषद्विश्वे देवाः सूक्तवाचप्रतिमा धर्मामाहिंसेर्मधुमनिष्ये मधुजनिष्ये मधुभक्ष्यामि मधुवदिष्यामि मधुमदीं देवेभ्यो वाचमुद्यागं शुश्रूषेण्यां मनुष्येभ्यस्तम्मा देवा अवन्तु शोभाजी पितरो नु वदन्तु ॐ मनस्तमादीयतां समाहितमनसः स्मः प्रसीदन्तु भवन्तः प्रसन्ना स्मः शान्तिः अस्तु पुष्टिः अस्तु तुष्टिः अस्तु वृद्धिः अस्तु अभिघ्नम् अस्तु आयुष्यमस्तु आरोग्यमस्तु धनधान्यसमृद्धिः अस्तु गोभूतलेभ्यः शुभं भवतु ऐशान् बहिर्देशे अरिष्टनिरसनम् अस्तु आग्नेयां यत्पापं तत्प्रतिहतम् अस्तु सर्वा सम्पदः सन्तु सर्वशोभनम् अस्तु शुभं कर्म अस्तु पुण्याः कालो वाच्यतां यत्पुण्यं नक्षत्रं तद्वत्कुरु वेदो भविषं यदा वै सूर्य उदेति अथ नक्षत्रं नैति यावति तत्र सूर्यो गच्छेत् यत्र जगन्यं पश्येत् तावति कुर्वीर यत्कारी स्यात् पुण्याः एव कुरुते पुण्याहं भवन्तो भ्रवन्तो ॐ पुण्याहं स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु वृत्तिर्भवन्तो भ्रवन्तो कर्मरद्धतां वृद्धिः समृद्धिः अस्तु पुण्याः समृद्धिः अस्तु शुभं कर्म अस्तु पुण्याः कालो यत्पुण्यं नक्षत्रं दत्तत्पूर्वीदो भविषं यदा वै सूर्य उदेति यत् नक्षत्रं नेति यावत् यत्र सूर्यो गच्छेत् यत्र जघन्यं पश्येत् तावत् कुर्वीत यत्कारी स्यात् पुण्याः एव कुरुते पुण्याहं भवन्तो भ्रवन्तो ॐ पुण्याहम् हिरण्यवर्णा सुजयप्पावका जातु जातः कश्यपो यास्विन्द्रः अग्नीया गत्वन्तदिरे विरूपात्तान आपश्यग्दस्योना भवन्तु या साकुं राजा वरुणो जातिमध्ये सत्या नृत्यवपश्यञ्जनानां मधुसुजस्रजोजाप्पावकात्तान आपश्यग्दस्योना भवन्तु शिवेन मा चक्षुषा पश्यता शिवजातनुगोपस्पृहदत्वतं मे सर्वागुम् अग्निगुं रप्सुषदो भवेवो मजिवर्चो बलमोजो निधत्ता पवमानः सुवर्चनः पवित्रेण विचर्षणिः यः पोतासु पुनातु मां पुनन्तु मा देवजनाः पुनन्तु मनवोदिया पुनन्तु विश्व आजवः जातवेदपवित्रवत् पवित्रेण पुनाहि मां शुक्रेण देवदीत्यते अग्ने कृत्वा कृतूं वृणो यत्ते पवित्रमर्चिषि अग्ने विदतमन्तरा ब्रह्मतेन पुनीमहे उभाभ्यां देवसुविदः पवित्रेण कवेन च इदं ब्रह्म पुनीमहि यः पावमानी रुद्धेति ऋषिभिः सम्भृतकुं रसं सर्वगुं सपूतमट्नादि सुदितं मातृश्वना पावमानीर्योद्धेति ऋषिभिः सम्भृतकुं रसं तस्मै सरस्वती दुहे क्षीरगं सर्पिर्मधोदकं पावमानी सुत्तजनीः सुदुधागिपयस्वतीः ऋषिभिः सम्भृतो रसः ब्राह्मणी स्मृतकं हितं येन देवा पवित्रेण आत्मानं पुनदे सदा तेन सहस्रधारेण पावमान्यपुनन्तु मां प्राजापत्यं पवित्रं शतोत्यामगं हिरण्मयं तच्चय्योरावृणीमहे गातुं विज्ञाय गातुं विज्ञपतये दैवी सुप्तिरत्मनः सुस्तिर्मानुषेभ्यः ऊर्ध्वञ्जिगादभेदजं षण्णो अस्तु द्विपते सञ्चतुष्पते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः करुणाजनमः सकल आराधनी सुवर्चितम् तत्त्वायामि ब्रह्मणा वन्दमानस्तदाशात्ते यजमानो हविद्भिः अहेडमानो वरुणे अभूत् जुरुषं समान आयुः प्रमोषीः अस्मात् कुम्भात् आवाहित वरुणं यथास्थानं प्रतिष्ठापयामि शोभनार्थे क्षेमाय पुनरागमनाय च देवसत्त्वा पवित्रप्रसवे अश्विनोर्वाभ्याम् पूष्णोहताभ्याम् अश्विनोर्वैरत्वेन तेजसे ब्रह्मवर्चसाय विषञ्जामि अस्मिन् भारद्वाज गोत्रस्य मम 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 पितुः प्रेत अग्नि संधानार्थं ममोपात्त समस्त दुरित क्षयद्वारा श्री परमेश्वर प्रीत्यर्थं पूर्वोक्त संगत विधानेन भारद्वाज गोत्रस्य शर्मणः मुमूर्षोः मम अनाद्य विद्या वासनया जन्म प्रभृति एतत् क्षण पर्यन्तं बाल्ये वयसि कौमारे यौवने वार्धके च जाग्रत स्वप्न सुषुप्ति अवस्थासु काम क्रोध लोक मोह मद मात्सर्य आदिभिः मनो व्यापारैः श्रवण स्पर्शन नरसन घ्राणैः श्रोत्र त्वक् चक्षुः जिह्वा नासिकाख्य ज्ञान इंद्रिय वचन दान विहरण उत्सर्ग अनन्तैः वाक्पानि पायुपस्थ कर्म इंद्रिय व्यापारैश्च संभावितानां महापातकानां अति पातकानां सम पातकानां उप पातकानां मलिनी करणानां पात्री करणानां जाति भ्रंश करणानां एवं बहु विधानां ज्ञानो ज्ञात आदिश्च रहस्यतः प्रकाश कश्च संभाविकानां सर्वेषां पापानां अपनोदन केषु बहुषु प्रायश्चित्त तेषु सत्सु स्वरूप अणोत् उष्टात् अशात् आवत् तत् प्रतिनिधि कावेरी गंगा स्नान रूप प्रायश्चित्त ब्राह्मण मुखेन अद्य करिष्ये। ओम गंगे चैमुने चैव गोदावरी सरस्वती नर्मदे सिन्धु कावेरी जलेऽस्मिन् सन्निधिं कुरु। ओम कावेरी 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 गंगा स्नान मंत्रार्थम यत्किंचित् हिरण्य दानं ब्राह्मणाय तुभ्यमहं संप्रदते। What we did, we did the Ganga Snan. So we are believe whenever we do the Ganga Snanam, our all problems goes away. So that's what we, without knowledge of that, or any even the human can do the mistake without our knowledge. So we, without our knowledge, any mistakes we did in the life. So for giving us to be blessing from the Shiva. That is the called the Prayashchitta. So right now we going to do the Karna Mantra. So the Karna Mantra is, whenever we born, so we the naming ceremony, we going to chant the name in the right ear. So that's the way the soul goes to dispatch to the Shiva's feet. So we're going to chant the Namah Shivaya mantra to this Karna. So this is called Karna mantra. So you can repeat the mantra. Namo Bhakta Samasta Durita Akshaya Dwara Shri Parameshwara Prityartam Moksha Siddhyartam Prana Adina Swasat Swasvat Sthanat Sukot Kramana Siddhyartam Dakshina Karne Punya Mantra Japam Karishye. Om. Our body is attached with the 5 elements. So the lighting, you can see without lighting, you can see the eyes. So we the Pancha 5 elements, so we can discharge from our body. So we can go and chant the mantra, your dash right here. You can go there. Chant repeat the mantra, you can chant this right here. One by one we can do that. After we have to chant Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. One by one we can do that. First to finish this mantra, repeat this mantra. Ayushaha Pranagum Santano Pranagum Santano Pranat Apanagum Santano Apanat Vyanagum. You can chant the mantra. After you can go there, finish this mantra. Repeat the mantra in the list here. You can go there. Alright. Vyanat. Repeat this mantra. Vyanat Chakshuhu Santano Chakshusha Shrotragum Santano Shrotrat Manaha Santano Manaso Vachagum Santano Vachat Atmanagum Santano Atmana Prithvigum Santano Prithvya Antarikshagum Santano Antarikshat Divagum Santano Divat Subaha Santano Etavat Paryantam Karma Upavityeva Om. Now all of your family members come and chant Om Namah Shivaya mantra. One by one.
Children, grandchildren. I can do it.
Children is your Om Namah Shivaya.
Everybody.
One by one.
All the grandchildren.
Moparta Samasta Durita Akshaya Dwara Shri Parameshwara Prityartham Preta Agni Santhanam Karishye Om. Under the feet. यस्तात् आयुष्यम् अग्रियं प्रतिमुञ्च शुद्धं यज्ञो उपवीतं बलम् अस्तु तेजः अतिथे अनुमन्यस्व अनुमते अनुमन्यस्व सरस्वते अनुमन्यस्व देव सवितः प्रसूव ॐ ॐ ॐ Use both hands. You can hold the left hand. You have to collect the ghee from the leaf. You have to collect this another. If you want this. एकं द्वे त्रीणि चत्वारि ॐ take the leaf from your right hand. ॐ hold the leaf only the ghee has ॐ भो स्वाहा भो स्वाहा सुव स्वाहा भूर्भुवः स्वः स्वाहा अतिथे अनुमन्यस्व अनुमते अनुमन्यस्व सरस्वते अनुमन्यस्व देव सवितः प्रसूव touching. You have to do the home. You can offer the ॐ पुरुषः संविदो यज्ञः यज्ञ पुरुषः संवितः अग्नये इदन्नमम ततो दक्षिण मध्य तूक्ष्णीं प्रदक्षिणं परिषिज्य असंस्कृत द्वादश गृहीत आज्येन प्रथमः तूष्णीं प्रजापतय इदन्नमम असंस्कृत द्वादश गृहीत आज्येन ॐ भूः भुवः सुवः भूर्भुवः स्वः स्वाहा अग्नय इदन्नमम अत अनाज्ञातं यथाज्ञातं यज्ञस्य क्रियते मिथु स्वाहा अग्नये इदन्नमम यत्पादत्र दीन तक्षाणः यदूकुं यजाति स्वाहा change your January on the left side. Just change the hand. गोत्रस्य भारद्वाज गोत्रस्य शर्मणः मम पितुः पितरम् औपासन अग्नि पितृपीतिक विधिना संस्करिष्यामि अद्य पूर्वोक्तेन एवं गुण सकल विशेषेण विशिष्टायाम् अस्यां वर्तमानायां पुण्य तिथौ सर्वस्य प्रति शिवरि भूमिः आपः उपस्थ अधित स्नोः अस्यो शुषदा भव यस्याः अस्मै शर्म प्रथमः कर्तृः ॐ स्वाहा स्वाहा स्वस्वाहा भूर्भुवस्सुव स्वाहा परे युवगुं प्रभतो मही अणुः अभ्यः पन्थाः मनपः स्पशं वैवस्वतगुं सङ्गमनं जानानां यमगुं राजगुं हविषा दुवस्व स्वाहा यमाय इदन्नमः ॐ सम्भावित समस्त दोष प्रायश्चित्तार्थं प्रायश्चित्त आहुतिं होष्यामि ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुव स्वाहा दक्षिण मध्य आरभ्य ॐ ऐपैक दूह यदिह विभः पुरा इष्टा पूर्त मनो सम्पश्य दक्षिणां यथा ते दत्तं बहुधा विबन्धुषु ॐ अत न्यायतो प्रेत मानस सदादा आदीन अथ कर्ता इमो युनजिते वह्नि असोनिथाय ओढवे याभ्यां यमस्य सकृतं चापि गच्छतात् रादीनां प्रेतं वीक्ष्य इमं मन्त्रं जपेत् ॐ see your father's face. Repeat the mantra. After finish mantra, you have to see his face. Om Pusha Atvet Shaktya Yuta Pravidvana Ashta Pashu Bhuvanasya Gopaha Sattvi Tebhyam Pari Dadat पितृभ्यो अग्नि देवे अभ्यः असु द्वि त्रेभ्यः ॐ ॐ ॐ पूषेम आशा अनुवेद सर्वस्वो अस्माकम् अभयते नेशं स्वस्तिता आधृतिः सर्वरो पुर एतु प्रविद्वान् ॐ आयुः विश्व आयुः त्वा पूषा त्वा पातु प्रपथे पुरस्तात् यत्र असते सुकृतो यत्र ते वायुः तत्र त्वा देवसविता दधातु ॐ You have to stay close to the feet and repeat them. Gotcha. Repeat the mantra. सुवर्णगुं हस्त दतदान मृतस्य श्रियै ब्रह्मणि तेजसे बलाय अतीव त्वमिह वयगुं सुषेवा विश्वस्य कृधे अभिमा तर्जयेम ॐ ॐ मेना मैना मेनः अग्ने विदहो भिवः शोचु अस्य त्वचं चिक्षुपो शरीरं यथा श्रुतं करवो जात वेदो मे मेनं प्रहिणोतात् पितृभ्यः श्रुतं यथा करसि जात वेदो ते मेनं परिददात् पितृभ्यः यदाह अच्छ सुदिने पेमथा देवानां वशानि भवाति अत चिरोतो उत्तरते दक्षिणा मुखाः सूर्यः ते चक्षुः गन्धते वाता आत्मना द्या पृथिवी च धर्मा आपो वागच्छ यदि तत्र ते हित मोक्ष धीषु प्रतिष्ठा शरीरै अत चित्ते पश्चात् प्रमुखात् तिष्ठ ॐ आह अहो आत्रै स्वाहा आख्यात पत्रे अग्नय इदन्न मम आख्या अत्रे स्वाहा आख्या अत्रे इदन्न मम अभि लालते स्वाहा अभिलालत अग्नये इदन्न मम अप लालये स्वाहा अपलाल अग्नये इदन्न मम अग्नये कर्म कृते स्वाहा कर्म कृते अग्नय इदन्न मम यमत्र नाधि अतस्मै स्वाहा अनाधि यमाना अद्य अग्नय इदन्न मम हिरण्यवक्षं वरुणस्य दूतं यमस्य यौनोषु गुणं वरण्यम् अधिद्रावशो चक्षुरतो बलाय इदन्न मम touch your, that's both of eyes and ear with the ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಮೆಂಬರಿಂದ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. பெரியவங்க அவசரம். ஓகே, மற்றவங்க ஃபேமிலி மெம்பர்ஸ் காயின் அரிசி போட்டு ஓன் கொடுங்க. இல்லை அப்படி கொடுத்துட்டு ஃப்ளவர் ஆஃபர் பண்ணுறவங்க எல்லோரும் ஜஸ்ட்டு ஷோ அந்த மவுத்தை ஷோ பண்ணிவிட்டு செஸ்ட்டுமா வச்சுருக்காங்க.
Money for ice cream.
ஃப்ளவர் ஆஃப் பண்ணுறவங்க அந்த பண்ணுவாங்க எல்லாருமே. சும்மா அது கம்மி பண்ணிடுவோம். அது ஃபுல்லாக இருக்கும். அது பேரெல்லாம் கொடுக்கக்கூடாது. ஆமாம், அப்புறம் ரசியாக பண்ணுவோம். இவங்கெல்லாம் முடிச்சுட்டு அதுக்கப்புறம் யாரும் வரக்கூடாது. அதனால மற்றவங்களாம் எதுவும் பக்கத்தில் வரக்கூடாது. அதுக்காக எதுவும் ஃப்ளவரில் ஆஃபர் பண்ணிவிட்டு அப்புறம் எல்லோரும் வந்து பேரெல்லாம் ओंकारं बिंदु संयुक्तं नित्यं ध्यायन्ति योगिनः कामदं मोक्षदं चैव ओंकाराय नमो नमः नमन्ति ऋषयो देव नरन्त्यप्सरसाङ्गनाः नरानमन्ति देवेशम् नकाराय नमो नमः शिवं शान्तं जगन्नाथं लोकानुग्रहकारकं शिवमेकपदं नित्यं शिकाराय नमो नमः वाहनं वृषभो यस्य वासुकीकण्ठभूषणम् वामे शक्तिधरं देवं वकाराय नमो नमः यत्र यत्र स्थितो देवः सर्वो व्यापि महेश्वरः यो गुरु सर्वदेवानां यकाराय नमो नमः षडक्षरमिदं स्तोत्रम् यः पठेत् शिवसन्निधौ शिवलोकमवाप्नोति शिवेन सह मोदते शिवलोकमवाप्नोति शिवेन सह मोदते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ शन्नो मित्रः शं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्वर्यमां शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः शन्नो मित्रः शं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्वर्यमां शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मावादिशम् ऋतमवादिशं सत्यमवादिशं तन्मामावीत् तद्वक्तारमावीत् आवीन्माम् आवीत् वक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः नमो वाचे याचोदिता याचानुदिता तस्यै वाचे नमो नमो वाचे नमो वाचस्पतये नमः ऋषिभ्यो मन्त्रकृद्भ्यो मन्त्रपतिभ्यो मामावृषजो मन्त्रकृतो मन्त्रपतयः परातु माहमृषीन् मन्त्रकृतो मन्त्रपदीं परादाम् वैश्वदेवीं वाचमुद्यासकुं शिवामदत्ताञ्जुट्टान् देवेभ्यः शर्म मेद्यौ शर्म पृथिवी सर्वविश्वमिदं जगत् सर्व चन्द्रश्च सूर्यश्च सर्व ब्रह्म प्रजापति भूतं वदिष्ये भुवनं वदिष्ये तेजो वदिष्ये यशो वदिष्ये तपो वदिष्ये ब्रह्म वदिष्ये सत्यं वदिष्ये तस्मादहमिदमुपत्तरणमुपत्तरणं मे प्रजायै पशूनां भूजादुपत्तरणमहं प्रजायै पशूनां भूजासं प्राणापानो मृत्योर्मापादं प्राणापानो मामाहासिष्टं मधुमनिष्ये मधुभक्ष्यामि मधुवदिष्यामि मधुमतीन् देवेभ्यो वाचमुद्यासकुं शुश्रूषेण्यामनुष्ये भक्तं मा देवा अवन्तु शोभायै पितरोऽनुमदन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः तच्चैयोरावृणीमहे गातुं यज्ञाय गातुं यज्ञपतये दैवी स्वस्तिरस्तु नः स्वस्तिर्मानुषेभ्यः चतुष्पते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः Put this one on your left side, the shoulder. Use one hand, that take this. Have to make your eyes here, then have to put the hand it like this. Follow it. Yes, okay. You can always. so that the family members they can keep them alive. இந்த ஃபேன் பக்கம் வச்சுக்கோங்க. இந்த பசங்களுக்கு ஒன்று கொடுக்கணும், சார் ஒன்று கொடுக்கணும். எல்லாருக்கும் வீட்டில் எல்லாரும் அவரோட ஞாபகார்த்தம் வச்சுருக்கேன்.
grandchildren are someone who died and then give him a charm, whatever he says.
And Om Namah Shivaya. All of can chant Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Om Mano Buddhyahankara Chittani Naham Najashrotra Jikve Najagrana Netre Najavyoma Bhumi Na Tejo Na Vayur Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham Agni Shantir Aditya Shantir Chandrama Shantir Nakshatrani Shantir Apashantir Oshadhaya Shantir Shantireva Shantir Shantir Me Astu Shanti Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So all of grandchildren can make a production. This way, yeah.
Not the flowers, because all the flowers goes on that. Not the flowers from there, and all the flowers. Everyone put in for. Like all the flowers in there. Flowers home, so put all the flowers on that.
Would you?
Take my own. Everybody go and give the last respect because they are going to close them. Children, grandchildren, everybody come and close them. Everybody wants to Once they're going to close the casket, two brothers here, two brothers there, and all the grandkids, I are requested to carry the casket to the car. So you will be all doing that. They will guide you how to do it. The foot process. So they'll close it first and then it will close. So the foot process. You need to go first. Yeah, you want to close it? You can close the brothers there. And boys only carries, boys come. So, how many boys are there? The grandchildren only. And half on that side, half on this side. You can go that side. Alright? They come, they stay there. Ganesh? No, you have to go this way. You're gonna carry, facing this way, everybody carry.
Can chant Ram Nam or Namaskar.
They come to the front, you throw. And come to the front. Dada has to carry this in front. You can touch it. You can touch the casket and they will do the carrying job.
Om Har Har Namah Parvati Pataye Har Har Mahadeva. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om